I need to talk to you about something genuinely terrifying. Witness D, a protected witness who was scheduled to testify at the Madlanga Commission, was murdered this weekend. Just killed, gone, before he could even get to stand to tell us what he knew. And I need you to understand something here. I need you to understand what exactly this means. Because this wasn't just some random crime you hear about happening in the weekend because it's December, you know. It wasn't bad luck or wrong place, wrong time type of situation. This was a man who agreed to testify about corruption and organized crime at the absolute highest levels of South African law enforcement, like a Breaking Bad movie. And he was killed before he could ever speak, like Gus Gustavo got to him. That's an execution. That is a message. And that message is, if you talk and you live in South Africa, you will die. They had one job. Here's what makes this absolutely infuriating. This man was a protected witness, allegedly protected. That means the state, the same state asking him to risk his life for testifying, was supposed to keep him safe. That was literally their only job. Keep this person alive long enough to tell the truth. And they couldn't even manage that for a weekend. A weekend during December in South Africa. A weekend, not months, not years, not days. He was supposed to testify. The state knew he was supposed to testify. They knew he would be in danger because he had to testify. They knew that what he was going to say was explosive. And somehow, he still ended up dead before he could take the stand today. How on earth does that even happen? How do you fail that badly at the one thing you absolutely cannot afford to fail at because you failed at so many other things? Either the protection was incompetent or everything was just a deliberate plan. And honestly, I don't know which option is more terrifying. But I'm sure you're wondering, why did Witness D have to die? What did this guy know? Well, let me tell you, this wasn't just any witness. If you've been watching my videos, you would know that Witness D was going to testify about the connections between organized crime and senior politicians. We're talking about the big networks here, the same networks that Kat Matlala exposed in his testimony. I'm talking the bribes to the police ministers, the protection rackets, the mysterious 360 million rand tender he got, the systematic capture of law enforcement by criminal drug dealing syndicates. This family man had information that powerful people desperately did not want to make public. Information so dangerous that someone decided it was actually worth killing him in his house in front of his wife and children to keep it quiet. And they were right to be worried, because if Witness D had made it to that stand, his testimony could have brought down people at the highest levels of government, even the names you know and love so much that you just wouldn't dream of being corrupt. But now we'll never know what he was going to say. We'll never hear his evidence. We'll hear what someone else will have to say. Maybe it'll be similar to what he was going to say, but you'll never hear it come from his mouth. That's how deep the corruption goes, because he's dead. And whoever killed him got exactly what they wanted, and it's silence. What message does this send to the people of South Africa? I mean, think about what this does to every other potential witness who's supposed to go to the Madlanga Commission. You're someone who knows about corruption. You've seen it, who has evidence of criminal activity by powerful people who genuinely think they are untouchable, and you could expose, help the truth. And then you watch Witness D get murdered over the weekend in front of his wife and kids, despite being under state protection. What would you do? Would you still come forward? Would you still agree to testify? Or do you look at what happened to him and decide that no amount of protection is worth your life and your family? This is how they win. This is why corruption has been here for so long. This is how corruption becomes truly untouchable, not by being innocent, but by making sure that anyone who could prove guilt is too terrified to speak or dead before they can. The implicit threat is now crystal clear. If you know the truth, there is a bullet with your name on it, and the state can't or won't stop it from reaching your brain. Is this really where we are as a nation? I need everyone to sit with this for a moment. It's Monday morning, it's December, I know you're not working. Listen to me. We are living in a country where a protected witness can be murdered before testifying. The people are investigating organized crime and they are allegedly part of organized crime. Police ministers are accused of taking bribes in Woolworths bags. Woolworths bags. Task forces investigating political killings get disbanded to protect the killers. And now we have something new. Witnesses dying before they can expose the truth. Is this Breaking Bad? Is this El Chapo? This isn't a functioning democracy. This isn't a country where the rule of law means anything. This is Narcos. This is a country where if you threaten the interests of powerful criminals, I'm sorry, dude. I mean, politically connected individuals, you will end up dead. And nobody gives a flying ham sandwich or will face consequences. Kat Matlala testified and said multiple senior politicians are on his bribe roll and threw them under the bus. He's alive because he's already in custody and his testimony is already public. But Witness D wasn't so famous. Witness D wasn't a public figure. He was just a family guy who knew too much and agreed to tell the truth. He got a call one day saying, hey, you want to be in the Madlanga Commission? Okay, sure. And it got him killed. The Madlanga Commission is meaningless now. I mean, come on. What's even the point of this commission? If witnesses can be murdered before testifying, this is supposed to be for protection. That's what the Madlanga Commission is for, right? It's for us, the citizens, to know what's going on as the tax-paying citizens of South Africa and to have justice. But if people are dying because of it, then what's the point? The Madlanga Commission is supposed to be investigating how organized crime has infiltrated law enforcement and politics as we know it. But if the people with evidence just keep dying, what on earth are they investigating? The whole process becomes theater. It's a performance of accountability without any actual accountability. And that's probably the point. Run investigations that look serious, but never actually threaten the people at the top. And what makes this even worse is that Cyril Pinocchio Ramaphosa is up there looking at it and then going, man, I feel sorry for that guy. And then we'll continue running this country to the ground. Why don't you write reports that acknowledge these problems and recommend real consequences? This is accountability theater, and Witness D just paid for that performance with his life. What happens now? What happens now? I'll tell you what should happen. There should be a massive investigation into how a protected witness was murdered. Every person involved in his protection, including those who were present in his house, should be questioned. If there was negligence, people should be fired. If there was deliberate sabotage, people should be arrested. This is a man with a wife and children, and they deserve answers. The Madlanga Commission should pause as of now and figure out how to actually protect witnesses before asking anyone else to come forward. Because right now, agreeing to testify, if they ask you to testify, you are essentially agreeing to become a target for the system. And most importantly, whoever ordered Witness D's murder should be hunted down, his testicles cut off, and prosecuted. This wasn't just a murder. This was witness intimidation, obstruction of justice, and an attack on the entire legal system. But let's be real about what's actually going to happen. We both know what's going to happen. You want to know what's going to happen? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, there's going to be a promise to investigate. There's going to be calls to patience. Patience, guys, patience while we look into it. Leave it to us. And everyone will move on. And Witness D will be just another casualty in a system that protects criminals instead of the people trying to expose them. That is the terrifying reality of South Africa. This is where we are as a country. If you genuinely know the truth about any corruption, even a little bit at high levels, speaking up is a death sentence. If you speak up about the truth, you have a bigger chance at dying than actual criminals on death row in the USA. And as long as that remains true, South Africa will continue to be run by criminals and their political protectors, because anyone brave enough to expose them ends up like Witness D, dead before they can even speak. That is not justice. That is not a democracy. That is a mafia state where the people investigating crime are the same people committing it. And anyone who threatens to expose that reality will get eliminated. They killed him. They killed him. And they'll kill the next person too if we let them.